Hello, and welcome to the Gers TV. It's pre-match, Hibernian versus Rangers at Easter Road, and it's myself, Si, and Jay. How you doing, mate?
I'm nervous, mate. I'm nervous, and I've not felt this way in a long time, to be honest, because under Russell Martin and stuff, there was just absolutely no hope whatsoever was there. So going into games, it was like, yeah, well, we probably won't win. Whereas now I'm like, I really want to win really badly because I feel like this game is so important. For and it can be that sort of that game that really kickstarts our season under Danny Rule. So
you broke up there. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You broke up a bit there. That's all right. I can hear you again. So you're nervous? Yep.
Nervous because, like I say, this game, can really be the game that can kickstart this reign under Danny Rule.
Definitely.
Because it's such a huge game as well, such a tough place to go, especially under the lights. And they're going to be well up for it, because
Hibs will be well fired up for this game. They're a good team. They're well organised, as we've seen at Ibrox. And it might come down to bottle and mentality as much as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm saying that is we're going to discuss the team lineup in a minute, and there's a few players missing, a few players added that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
And that's where my concern is when I see the team as the bottle more than anything and experience.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the team out?
Yeah, I'll read the team out. So we've got Butland in goal. We've got Cornelius playing in the left centre back role. Then Suter alongside him with Jigger playing in the right centre back. Then Aarons as the right wing back. Magoma as the left wing back with Raskin and Barron in the middle of the pitch, and then we've got Danilo, Moore, and Shemiti as a front three. And I've done it like this: a 3-4-2-1. I mean, they could play a 3-4-1-2 and have Moore in the middle and have Shemiti and Danilo alongside each other. But I just don't feel like he's going to play it that way. I feel like it's going to be a Shemiti.
When I done the show last night, I spoke about this, Jay. It might be both. He might just revert to both.
It could be. I mean, it could be. A different formation when we're in possession and when we're out of possession. But I feel like it's gonna be, get the ball up to Shemiti for him to link up with Danilo and Moore, who are either going to be running in behind, or one of them will come short, take the pass, and try and play out to the wide areas to like to Max Aarons and Magoma to create the space there for us to create chances in the wide areas.
I'm just hoping he's watched Hibs playing this season or in general, but hope he knows that they're going to be aggressive and attacking us for the start.
Yeah, and I feel like he'll be well aware of, and he's probably done a lot of watching of their games back and stuff. He should be aware of that.
The reason I'm saying that is that the last maybe 8 or 9 managers that have been with Rangers right up to before, right after Gerrard, every one of them's went Easter Road and took a bit of fright for the last 20 minutes because they've no done that. They've no done their homework.
But this is why I think he's got Conor Barron in there as well, and not playing likes of Diamande and Asgard. I feel like he wants that sort of the energy that Barron gives you, and his tenacity in the middle of the pitch. And I also feel like that's why you're not seeing the likes of Gassama playing, and you've got Max Aarons playing instead, because I really feel like we're looking at creating a solid foundation, creating that base for us to then work off. Creating that foundation for us to then try and build something throughout the game, rather than put too many attacking players on the pitch and them being better to us on all the second balls and being more aggressive than us and being sort of out fought. I feel like he's looked at that and brought in more sort of players that are going to fight for him.
Aye, well, I hope so. Anyway, I'll give you the concerns I've got with the team. I still think that Thelwell has an input in the team, and that's why Moore is playing. It seems to be he's got to play. He's dropped Tavernier and he's brought in Giga. This was probably the plan at the start of the season, if I'm being fair, that Tav isn't going to play every week. He's not physically fit enough to play every week, and if you want to be playing Sunday, it's probably best to rest him. That might be the thinking behind it. It might just be purely tactical, but I think Tavernier will come on at some point. The reason I'm highlighting this is a Giga out of that defence. I like Cornelius and I like Suter. And if they play with that 3 at the back, I think it's a bit suspect with Aarons and Giga on the right-hand side. I just don't think that none of the two of them can really defend very well, but I hope I'm proved wrong with that. And then just when you get to the midfield, I'm looking at the team there. Barron's came in, he's played well. Magoma on the left, that'll be a wing back, Magoma and Aarons. 2 of them are quite raw. Both of them are going to get a fright at Easter Road, I think. I hope I'm wrong with that as well.
I think that's their best position, though, right wing back and left wing back, because they have the freedom to go forward and they have that defensive cover as well, with Cornelius being able to cover him in the left back position and Giga can cover.
It probably is their best positions and their best the best suited to play in. But what I mean is, the way Hibs will play, I've got a funny feeling they might be. It's the mentality I'm worrying about, that these guys might bottle it. I hope that isn't the case.
I feel like
experience in there.
I feel like that is just the outcome of this season so far. We're scarred from the whole Russell Martin era, and after every game it was the lack of mentality in this team. But I feel like, having watched the game against Kilmarnock at the weekend, and the fact that we had, I know it's at Ibrox and the game we should be winning, but we did win, and we did win comfortably. We didn't lose that many chances against them. They had obviously the goal, which was an error on our side. That should never have happened. And then other than that, they had maybe one header that was great save from Butland, and maybe a couple of half chances, but nothing major. Whereas, before, under the Russell Martin era, it felt like they were creating 15, 20 chances a game against us, whoever we were playing against. So I feel like this system is working for the players that we've got. I don't feel like the wingers that we have are strong enough in order for us to focus on playing a system that requires wingers. Ant-Man's not been performing well. You're looking at Moore and you're thinking, well, where do you put him? Because he hasn't been performing well out wide. But then at the weekend was his best game, in my opinion, in the Rangers shirt. And he played in that position that he's going to be playing in today. You've got Salmon.
The other thing is, there's three players in the park I can see right away that are going to get kicked lumps out of. It's whether they can respond to it.
But this is what they need to prove to us that they can do, and there's no better night than tonight to do that. The likes of Moore and Magoma, Max Aarons, they need to prove that they can stand up to this. Shamiti's gonna need to battle hard. He needs to keep the ball for us. He's gonna. I think
this is the type of game that will suit Shamiti. Looking at the strike force, Moore, Danilo, Shamiti, that's probably what I'd have went with. In terms of Shamiti and Moore. Shamiti and Danilo. I think he's only had something like 10, 15 minutes before last week.
Yeah.
He's not played many minutes, so we can't really be judging him too much for coming on and off of bit parts. Where the tall guy, the big guy, wee guy role, that might work. With Moore just off the two of them, I think it will. And if they get the right supply, I'm not really sure they're going to get much supply with that midfield, to be honest, but I hope I'm wrong with that again. Moore, I would be letting Moore kind of do a box-to-box base. Basically, I would be letting him get the ball for the halfway line and give him a free roll, whether he wants to go left, right, or straight forward.
I think he probably will have more of a free roll, to try and pick up the ball in the right areas, and constantly try to get that ball forward into Shamiti's path, or out wide into Max Aarons. And I feel like that's the sort of position that suits him, to be honest. But again, why I think Raskin and Barron are in there, because Danny Rowell has mentioned this a number of times. It's what he really likes is counter pressing. So he's going to want that ball up to Shamiti. He might not be able to win that first ball, but then it's winning the second ball. It's having two terriers in there to win that ball high up the pitch.
What I will say with that is for definite is Raskin and Barron play far better together than Rothwell. So I'm glad that's not the case, and the two of them understand this game. So that's two guys in the middle of the park and suited behind them that understand that Hibs are going to go for our throats. So that part doesn't it? It's just the wide men I'm a bit worried about. The big thing for me is if we can go the first 30 minutes and no lose a goal, I think Rangers will get a comfortable victory. But if they score first and it's in the first 15 minutes, we might go back to the default, and that's my concern. It's really about concentration levels tonight for me.
And that's going to be the message, I think, from Danny Rowell. Do not concede a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes, because you know what this crowd is going to do. So they need to be switched on from minute one. Something that I always criticise Russell Martin's team for. It felt like every time we came onto the pitch, it was like they were just daydreaming, and they weren't at it from the off. Whereas under Danny Rowell, they conceded a goal, really bad goal, but then their heads didn't drop. I felt like we were back at it, and it came out in the second half, and they were straight at it and got an early goal. So I feel more at ease now that I know that Danny Rowell is in charge of this team than I.
I agree with that. Yeah,
if that scenario happened on the Russell Martin team. So, but this is such a good test though, because you're really going to find out about some of these players, and Danny Rowell's going to find out about some of these players. He would have got a shock in that game against Brann last week right? Because he played 4 at the back, and he's clearly thought after that game, this team cannot play 4 at the back. We cannot. They're not good defensively. The fullbacks, if you look at Brand's first goal, James Tabb was near the halfway line, completely out of position. He's probably thinking these fullbacks aren't good enough to play as 4 at the back, so we need to switch it up.
But what you're saying there, the problem what you're saying there is it's a bad time, and we really can't afford to be experimenting. It's all right saying we'll find out what they're made of. If they go back to what we've seen in the past, it's a terrible time when we've got Celtic at the weekend, plus a chance to start climbing up the league. We really want to get this victory tonight. What I will say with the defence is when I look at Giga there, in the next couple of weeks, Giga would probably be replaced by Sterling, and that would be a good back 3. Sterling, Cornelius and Suter. It's just too soon, unfortunately, for Sterling, but that would be a strong back 3 for the future coming up. Maybe no about the weekend, but probably in about the next 3 weeks that if they're going to go with the 3 at the back. I like the 3 at the back. I certainly think that's the way forward for Rangers and Scottish football.
I think it is the way forward now with this team for sure. Until we get top quality wingers that we can trust to create chances for us and to chip in with goals, etc. We've got Moore who's clearly better off, in those areas in the middle of the pitch rather than being chucked out wide. Ant-Man hasn't been performing to the levels that we thought he could.
Yep.
And we've only really got one winger then because Curtis still a young boy. In my personal opinion, he needs to go out on loan in January. So until we can get the players of the right quality to play with wide wingers, this is going to be the future for us. And I liked it on Sunday, and I like that Danny Roll is actually actively, trying to find solutions to this team. He's not come in and just said, well, this is what they're used to. We're going to stick to the system and see what happens, and then we might make some signings in January. He's looking at the squad saying, can't play 4 at the back. We're playing 5, playing with the wing backs, and making changes again today, because a lot of managers say don't change a winning team, but I don't believe in that because each team you play against, especially in Scottish football and in Europe, etc., you're coming up against different challenges. So you need to be able to adapt to different circumstances. And Danny Roll has already, said that's what he's like in his manager. He has a plan A, plan B, plan C, which I really like, and I feel like we need someone like that. And we haven't had someone like that for so long.
I would have to add in that as well. One of the things that we've criticised on the Gers TV for the last 6 months or maybe a year is why don't we try 3 at the back? And it worked at the weekend. So he's trying it. It's what the fans want, not just Gers TV. Because 3 at the back is technically 5 at the back when you're defending, if they do it right. But it's an attacking formation because the 2 full-backs should be wing-backs. Sorry, Doug's going ape shit here. So she's going to knock the camera down. Chasing after things. She thinks it's a fucking moose. The thing is, Emma had a moose in the house last week, and the dog's scared there. And then when there's a dummy moose, she's about to fight it. Aye, so back to the football. So I think if the 2 wing backs have a good game, that's a really good formation for Rangers to be playing in. But they need to be getting balls to Danilo because Danilo, what we've seen from him the last few months, and it's very little, he's not going to do a lot of ball winning. He's not going to do a lot of running off the ball. But if you get the ball to him in a dangerous area, his finishing is outstanding. And the big boy Shermiti, it's still early doors for him. If I was him, I would be hitting as many good shots on target as I can tonight because he looks as if he's got a right good dig on him.
Yeah.
In terms as well, before I forget, Tavernier's no starting. So set pieces, I would be using Cornelius for the set pieces because we've seen what he can do in the international.
It depends. Yeah, I would use him for free kicks outside the box, but you saw with the first goal, he's got a clear eye for goal in terms of getting his head on the ball. So we just need someone who can cross in a good ball for him. Looking at that starting 11, I'm trying to maybe more. Does he have a good?
I think Moore might be taking him. We'll see during the game. They might change. It might be Raskin and Moore or whatever. I'm also just noticed that when I'm thinking about this here, I'm quite glad that Asgard isn't playing because
I am.
He's obviously got a lot of technical ability, but he's not got the build just now for Scottish football. And
I don't
knocked hell out in the night.
I don't trust him physically in the games where you need to dig in, and I feel like, and there was a number of Luton fans that I've heard say this as well. Like when things are going well, he looks like an amazing player. He's got a lot of space to play, etc. But when things get tough, he goes missing. And we've seen that already this season, you know. He'll have a really good moment, like against Dundee United at home, where he scores that goal. But when they got physical in that second half, he completely disappeared. And this is going to be a physical game. So, you know, I don't want him anywhere near the team sheet in this sort of game. And I feel like it's much better suited to someone like a Connor Barron in the midfield, you know, and players that have been in this fixture before, you know. I feel like, even though looking at this team, I mean, how many players in this team have played in this fixture before? We're probably four players.
We have got a bit of experience, but obviously Butland will more or less be like the captain of the team. The other thing is, it might actually be Souttar, the captain, but Butland will be the leader at the back. So this Doug's going ape shit here. The other thing I'm looking at as well is there's plenty of guys there that can lead if we need leaders. Raskin, Barron, Butland, Souttar, Cornelius, and also with Sharmiti, obviously we saw the header at the weekend from Danilo, but with Sharmiti's height, we might actually have a bit of threat in the box if we put good crosses in. We've not really had that this season.
No. No, I don't like. I always have this thing about two strikers and just being useless using the heads for some odd reason. You know, I mean, if you look at Shamiti against Bran, when he had his only chance, I think his only touch in the box when he had a header out from like 5 yards out and got no power behind it. It was really poor effort. So I would like him to prove me wrong and show me that he can actually score with his head. But we know we've got Danilo there, and Danilo is just fantastic. I think that header in the game against Killy at the weekend, I mean, unbelievable goal. And I really hope though that they can start getting more goals between them and start getting this consistency of scoring.
That could be the partnership. I thought it would have been Miovski, and that I might be wrong. It might be Danilo. It might be the partnership that leads us for the next couple of months. Magoma played that great ball at the weekend to Danilo. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of forum we want off him, and we need that off of Aarons. Aarons has not showed a lot, but he was okay when he came on at the weekend. Mm. But that's the kind of balls that we need. We need good balls in the box that are close enough to the strikers and far enough away from the goalkeeper that gives him an opportunity to shoot or header or whatever.
I feel like Magoma's got a really good cross on him. You know, a number of times he puts a really good ball in the box. The only downside with Magoma at the minute, and it frustrates the life out of me, is when he's got space to run into, he seems to just cross from deep. I want to see him burst into the box and whip a ball on the floor in front of between the goalkeeper and the defenders for someone to get a tap in. He always seems to want to pick someone out at like head height. Just run into the space.
I think it's just inexperience. He's just I think we've got to train that out of him.
And that's the one thing I want to see from him, because he did it again at Killy at the weekend. I think he did it against Bran. And it's like, just when you've got the space to run into it and whip a ball in front of in the danger zone, you know.
But we're also in the stages just now that they've only had a few training sessions since the manager came in, because that's what 3 games in 5 days or something like that. So he's still trying to find out his best players.
He is. You know, and again, games like this, and it's good that, you know, you're getting the games, you know, thick and fast, because it's all evidence. It's all, you know, learning for him and for the team to see who's up for it in these sort of games. Even though we're in a position now where we can't afford to drop any points, you know, because the other lot across the city will win tonight, right? But we want to keep the pressure on against them. They got Falkirk at home. I'm
not so sure they'll win the night, to be fair.
It's one of those where it's like, obviously Martin O'Neill going back and the crowd will be up and whatnot, and it's Falkirk at home. For me, I feel like they win that game. So we need to win this game, because
Rangers need to win our game, but I wouldn't say the crowd were up for it. I passed by Celtic Park, there's protests outside their stadium. The fans are all on the internet, on the radio, all fighting each other. Their podcasters are getting criticised. The people are taking the manager's side, the previous manager's side. People are taking the board side, so they're all and Falkirk are an organised team, so I don't think that one's a definite.
I hope not. I hope I'm proved wrong, you know. But you know, when they played Dundee away, I was like, oh well, they'll win that game, and they didn't. So you never know. But I feel like if we were to win this game, and let's say, you know, if they don't win that game, great. But if they do, but you know, they'll be looking at this game for us, thinking then they're never winning that. Hearts will be looking at the same thing. They're never winning that. If we can win this game, especially going into the weekend cup semi-final at Hamden, win this game, and it's like it's a whole mentality shift from our boys and for them as well. They'll be thinking this team under this new
it's all about results over performance tonight. If they get the result, the performances are getting better anyway. But they're slowly trying to slowly trying to get these players to believe in themselves as well. That'll take time, but victories help with that.
But it's all about results. It's building a winning culture. You can't underestimate just how powerful just getting even just a 1-0 scrappy 1-0 win can do for the rest of the team, knowing that they can dig in and fight for each other. It's massive, and that is what we haven't seen from this team. Jack Butland said it. I can't remember. Was it Dundee United at home when we dropped when we went 1-0, went 1-0 up, and then lost the 2 goals? He was like, he doesn't know what goes through the guys' heads half the time. But if you keep dropping points from winning positions, for example, you're gonna have that sort of thought process. Why do we keep doing this? Whereas if you can battle hard and you trust the lads to your left and to your right to battle for you, and if you lose the ball, they're gonna win it back for you. It just gives everyone a lift, and it changes the whole mentality in the team, and then the fans trust that they can rely on you to fight for them as well, and it just creates a much better environment. And we haven't got that. We haven't had that for a while.
And another big thing for me is I noticed at the weekend, and I hopefully see this tonight because Rill's kind of more of a squad manager than he is a top 11. He will change it. He'll change it a few times in the game. But when the players go off and the players go on, I want to see them all behind them. They're all fighting for their place. They're fighting for a place in the semi-final on Sunday. Massive game as well. They want to take part in. And I think everybody, and that's not everybody in the squad, but 90% of the players in that squad have all got an opportunity to play on Sunday. And that's the kind of games that players want to play in. What time are we at now?
It's 32 minutes past 7, so we've got just under 15 minutes to go until kick-off.
We'll get another 2 or 3 minutes. Do you want to go with the comments? Because I need to run across and get some food after
so
this.
Scott in Berlin here, solid lineup from the German. Yeah, I like it. And there's been a number of occasions in the past where I'm like, oh, I would have played this player, I would have played that player. I feel like this is pretty spot on and something that I would have, maybe Tav not being in the squad surprised me, but other than that, I feel comfortable with this. What about you, Si?
That's back to what I'm saying. If you if you say this was the start of the season, we all thought Tav was going to be getting taken into the team and out of the team, and he would be there when we need him. That's going to have to happen, whether we like it or not. I quite like Tav in here. I know a lot of people are fed up with him, but it's going to have to happen that he gets less game time and he gets phased out of the team. So this is the time probably to do it. So it's not really a big surprise. It's just about leadership. The one thing I'm happy about is it gives other players a chance to take set pieces.
Yeah, I know. Well, it'll be interesting to see who does take the set piece. We know that Magoma's got a good cross on him, so potentially he can be on the free kicks or more. So I would
take a guess and say that the boy Moore would probably have a good dig on him as well. So there's plenty of opportunities.
But like against Killy, set pieces in football are so important. Look at how Arsenal play. They score more goals from set pieces than they do from open play. So we need to take advantage of that in both boxes though as well. And I feel like maybe that's why the likes of Giga's starting as well, because you've got that extra physical presence, extra height for the directness of a Hibs team. So potentially that's also a reason.
It's a good balance. It's a good balance of big, tough players, or hopefully they're big and tough tonight. Big, tough players. They've got a bit of height, and they've also got a bit of pace. And there's a good variation. I hope it works out, because that's the kind of we've been screaming out for a changing system for months, and we've got to change it. It worked at the weekend. Let's hope it works tonight. No point getting on the players' backside if it doesn't work, or the manager just stick with it. I am quite confident with it. When I see the lineup now, and we've talked it over, I'm quite confident. As long as they've got the right mindset and they can have the right mindset for the first half hour and they'll lose a goal, I would be confident Rangers coming out of this with a victory.
And I really hope we get that first goal and then we can keep a clean sheet today. That would be, that is really what we should be targeting. We need to get rid of that record, and bin that off and move forward. But we haven't. How many games has it been since we kept an away clean sheet? 23 now, is it? 23 games.
It shouldn't have been any more than 3 or 4. But it shouldn't be any more than 3 or 4, but it is.
I know. But my prediction then for tonight, I'm going 2-0 Rangers.
Well, I done it last night, so I don't want to change it in case anybody watches and thinks I'm going back to my word. I said 2-0 Rangers as well. It's important that we get on a run of clean sheets. We really need Butland to be on top form, so Butland needs to get these clean sheets in. He needs to be able to trust his defence. That's been a problem for Butland. The defence have been changing a lot, and it's been unfair on him. The great Rangers teams that I can remember for the last 30, 40 years have always had solid centre halves, solid defence, and it's made the goalkeeper's job a bit easier. The midfield I'm really happy with, and something tells me that Danilo's no finished yet with Rangers in his career, and this could kickstart his career again for us. So confident. Let's hopefully get a result, and we'll be back on after the game.
Yes, happy days. Come on, we got this. 3 points in the bag.
I'll let you take us out.
Cool. Right. Cheers all. Thanks all for joining. Thanks all for getting in the comments, and we'll see you again at 10 o'clock post-match review.
Come on, Rangers.
Bye-bye for now.